Hello everyone, my name is Nick, or otherwise known as FinanceNick. Welcome to this webinar. It's called Dream or Reality. In this webinar, we're going to be discussing the difference between our dreams, our goals, sort of putting them into place where they all play out, and how you can come to turning your dream into a goal, into, splitting that goal into several sub goals, or subsets of goals that you need to achieve, and, start approaching, getting to your dream and getting to your goal, whatever it is, on a daily basis. And the most important part of this webinar is we're going to be discussing how compound interest works by using a really thorough and, I would say, big example, because we go over the compound interest and being the eighth wonder of the world in the main overview presentations, but we don't take one example, like real life sort of example, and break it down how it could genuinely work to help you achieve your goals, not, let's say, in 8 years, but let's say in 2-3 years max. So let's move on. So who has a dream? We all have dreams: apartment in the center of town, a house or in the beach or in the mountains, a yacht or a helicopter, Mercedes-Benz, Bentley. How about, having all those things? This is the big thing that, I talk with a lot of people and I work with a lot of partners. And I realize that a lot of people aim for one of those things when you can have, all of them. And you've just woken up, you don't need to rush to work. And this is probably one of the biggest and most important bits of it, important parts of having that kind of dream. Everyone dreams differently, right? But let's have an example. You arrived in a Mercedes-Benz salon, you chose the car, you paid in cash and drove off. Your kids study at really good schools, you're able to afford their education. And one of the most important things that I believe there are is, health. You want a healthy family. You want your kids to be healthy, your family to be healthy, your wife, parents, and so on and so forth. But for all of these things, as wonderful as they are, you need money. And that's the saddest part, of the saddest truth, so to speak, about this is that for all those things, you need money, right? So all dreams require financial support and resources. So let's break down what a dream is. When we go to sleep, we typically wake up forgetting the dream within the first 5 minutes that we've had the previous night, even though, technically we think, it was, no matter how long or how exquisite and detailed the dream could be, we typically forget them. Why? Because most dreams, they're so far from reality that when we wake up, we get back into reality and we understand that, whatever was going on in my head when I was sleeping, that's not something that, I can have right here, right now. So you forget it, but you should admit that, you must admit that there are some dreams, I'm sure you guys have had them, that you genuinely remember. Like there's one or two dreams that you distinctly remember, maybe not necessarily nightmares, but, dreams that were so close and so real that you genuinely woke up and you're like, well, that was like insane, So typically, if you really had a dream, you had a dream and you wanted to achieve this dream, what happened to it? A lot of people I talked to, they had dreams when they were like 20, 25, 30, whatever it is. And by 35, 40, they sort of forgot about all that. You need to analyze these things. You need to understand, did something change for you, for your family? Did you make certain decisions that perhaps could have been made better? Or did you just, suffer stress or distress or experience any sadness? These are all factors that, affect our dreams. But if we did genuinely dream big at some point in our life, then we need to remember that, you can't just leave it at that. You need to keep moving forward, so to speak, right? The famous phrase, keep moving forward. But you need to set your goals. You need to set, understand what are the issues that I faced and what made those dreams go away, you know? So let's move on a little bit and talk about being goal orientated, right? So typically when we talk about dreams, right, we're a little bit, way off. They're, they're over the top, so to speak. Too much, representative of what's going on in our heads and really less of what's going on in our life, and far from reality. But the goal is, and this is the difference between a dream and a goal, is to break it up into short-term goals. Formulating intervals and so on and so forth. Formulating step by step what you're going to do to achieve certain goals. And obviously, you need resources. You need financial resources. You need knowledge, and you need support. So all of these kind of things. I like to give the example of Maslow's hierarchy. I'm sure a lot of you remember this or maybe studied this. in university, in school. A lot of you're familiar with Maslow, and his hierarchy. So this pyramid, it breaks into 5 levels typically. There is actually a 6th level that I'm going to be talking about in my, other webinars that not many people talk about, but it does exist. The 5 levels are obviously, physiological needs, which is food and water. After you've got those, you want your shelter, you want a roof over your head. Once you've achieved those levels, you need to achieve the 3rd level, which is love. And a lot of people are, they don't understand what this 3rd level is about. But this 3rd level, love, is all about support. It's all about family. It's about, having friends and people to turn to. Let's admit that there have been loads of cases of people achieving success. In our eyes, they have achieved success. They've become wealthy. They have accumulated a lot of wealth, but they have become isolated. They've become lonely. They've lost themselves somewhere. And a lot of these people who become extremely rich really quickly because they, well done to them, they've actually achieved the success perhaps. But these people are typically isolated. Why? Because they skip that 3rd level. And Maslow specifically says if you follow, the path of your life through this hierarchy, you achieve your physiological needs. You eat, you drink, you have something to drink, you have something to eat, you have a shelter. If you have love, if you have the love of your family, you have support, you have your friends, you have a team that loves you, and people who turn to you, and you're needed by your family, and people who genuinely love you, not because of your money, but because you are who you are. You can move on to self-esteem. Now, self-esteem is obviously being praised by your boss, having the boss tell you, hey, well done, great job today. Here's a higher salary, here's an extra check for this month because you did so well. This is the self-esteem level where you start to achieve sort of the short-term goals that you're setting, in your career, in your family. Maybe you have kids, you planned a family with your wife, and, or you planned a family with your husband and you have kids now, and, this sort of brings you to the level of self-esteem. Now, after self-esteem, you have the final level, so to speak. There is obviously another level above that, but the final level, as everyone thinks, is the level of self-actualization, right? Self-actualization is achieving all the dreams that you have ever set and goals that you've ever set in your life. For someone, it might be, becoming the CEO of, a huge corporation. That was their dream, their lifelong goal, and they've achieved it. They've self-actualized, the 5th level, but they would not have gotten to that level successfully. And when I mean successfully, it doesn't mean they made a lot of money or they got there and that's it. It means that they went through life achieving these goals, physiological needs, having food and water, shelter over their head, love of family. Then they went through self-esteem, and then only they went through self-actualization, and they actualized themselves and passed away, leaving something behind. The reason why people get lost is because, first of all, they don't understand how money works, number one. Number two, because a lot of people, they achieve success in our eyes, right? Again, I'm mentioning again, in our eyes, because we look at people and we start judging them by how much money they have. They have a lot of money, right? But these people go hang themselves when they're 42 because they have so much money. They don't know what to do with it. They start, doing crazy things like, I'm not going to say it, but, they start partying, they start taking things, and they get lost in life. But they have so much money. How can they get lost in life? That's the big question most average people have. And I had when I was like, much younger, and I was about 16, 17 years old. I was like, how do these rich people, how do they get lost in life? And then I realized that they didn't get lost because, they're bad people or something, or, they're drug addicts or something. No, it's just that they skipped that level. They went straight to self-actualization. They went straight to being a rock star, but they haven't sorted out their family. They haven't sorted out their friends. They don't know anyone they can turn to. They have not, achieved the level of self-esteem where it's not just driven by their ego, but they've genuinely achieved something within a family, within a context of having lots of good friends and trustworthy friends. A lot of these people have gone to the top lonely, and they've ended their life lonely because they just haven't sorted themselves out in the beginning. So love is extremely important. This is the reason why I started talking about this, is because part of your goal and the resources required for achieving your goal is, support, right? Support, without a good team leader, without anything, to support you, you're not going to achieve what you're going to achieve. So with a lot of partners that I work with, and Seifa is in here listening to me, and knows this, that, if I hadn't been doing these webinars or working with partners directly, he can call me any day, like anytime he can call me and say, Nico, I have this cool, idea. Let's talk about this, that, and the other. And we start discussing things, this is the support that I'm talking about, because that makes people feel safe and they can achieve their goals. He starts making goals. He says, okay, I want to do this, that. I advise him here, there, somewhere he teaches me, somewhere I teach him. This is the point of, being goal orientated, because you work in a team. And probably this is very important to people who, strive to achieve certain levels of success, but they can't see themselves doing it yet because, they're not taking it step by step, guys. You shouldn't be going, hey, yeah, I'm just going to make $1 million and, retire. That's cool. Or whatever amount it is that you have in your mind. It's not the right way. You need to take step by step. Otherwise, nothing's ever going to come your way. So execution, in order to execute your goals and achieve them, you need to have control. You need to take corrective actions of choices that you've made and that you seem, that seem off or have, given you negative results. It's like with any investment, when you're diversifying your investment portfolio, you could lose here, but you're going to win everywhere else. So you can start taking corrective action there. It's the same with the relationships. It's the same with, anything in life. If you can see that you're broke, this is hardcore, but you see you're broke and you understand that you have this problem. So the first step you have already taken. You have understood that, you want more. You're not necessarily broke. You got a job, maybe, you got more or less, you got some cash flowing in and out, but you want it better, right? So you've already realized the problem. What have you done to achieve it? Have you learned something new every single day? Have you spoken to people? Have you increased your network? Have you met someone new to give you opportunity? Have you looked for those opportunities? No. So how do you expect to achieve those goals? This is where discipline comes in. So it's not about, a lot of videos tell you like, you got to wake up at 6 a.m. and you gotta pray to, to money. And, you gotta really like, wake up every day at 5 a.m. or whatever it is. And you can't sleep, you gotta work. No, you gotta work smart, like, it's not about overworking your body. It's about working smart. I could spend 2 hours a day doing something so productive that I don't need to do anything the rest of the day. And I could just work with, being with my family, work on myself, maybe go to the gym, maybe do something else, maybe read a book, chill, watch some videos, informative videos, learn something new. It's all about that. Everyone has their own sort of discipline. It's like, everyone has their own religion. I like to say, I'm not supposed to be, talking about these topics in depth, but that's what I'm going to leave it at. We all have our own religion. We all have our own discipline. Don't listen to anyone who tells you that you have to follow this certain routine. No. How can another person understand what you're going through, what your life has put you through? You really can't, because everyone's life is different. So you got to set those goals and set that control and corrective action for yourself, not because some video on YouTube told you or some person told you to do so. You can listen to me telling you this. For example, you don't necessarily have to do what I tell you. You can use this as a foundation and make your own ideas happen. That's where team building and teamwork and, where, I feel why I love affiliate marketing, right? What I love about it. It's not just because I'm a marketing guy. I graduated as a marketing student from, American University in Dubai, but because affiliate marketing puts a lot of people together. And in affiliate marketing, you work as a team. You work as a team to progress each other's wallets. You become rich together. That's the point of it all. So one of those goals for me is to, unite people in order to help others and myself achieve certain levels of financial stability and certain levels of passive income that I want, which I've already achieved, but I want others to know about it as well. I'm not greedy. So that's the sort of one of my goals as an idea. Let's move on. Let's calculate your goal. And this is probably the biggest part of this webinar. What's so cool about it and why, I'm getting some really good feedback from people overall is because I take this example and we break it down and we literally see how we could turn a goal that will take, 10, 15 years to achieve into like 3 years, 4 years max. So let's begin. Let's say that you need $50,000. You need this $50,000. This could be our dream or our goal, whatever you want to call it. This is our goal, $50,000, whatever it is that you set in mind. This is just an example. Your income that you will need to save every single month is $500. Okay, we're just going to set that. Again, you can set anything you want in your head or in a calculator, whatever it is. But we're going to set putting away $500 every single month, okay, starting from the first month. And our goal is to reach $50,000. So if we calculate it, doing basic math, it's going to take us 100 months or 8.5 years to have $50,000, right? That's quite a long time. Okay. For some people, that's like, oh, that's cool. My mortgage is 20 years, but trust me, that's very long, because in 8.5 years, we have to take into account the following negative aspects. And one of them is obviously inflation, your income. It's not stable. If you have a job that pays you well, and I really hope you do, and you're enjoying it. The main thing is, if you have a job and you have a career, you're enjoying it. It's not about the money, it's about you enjoying it. But nowadays, there's a lot of people in this world, and what I say about um, anyone's, you can fire anyone at any moment. It's not as stable. I have friends who work for huge names, huge corporations. I'm not going to name them here, but these are gas companies, oil companies in my country, who have worked in the company for like 20 years. 20 years, 20 years, you understand what kind of level of management these people are. And they're getting like, they're getting asked to leave the company because they don't have a vaccine, for example. That's insane. You work for, imagine you're working for like Shell or something, an oil company for like 20 years. This is an example. It's not true, but similar to the situations that I've heard of and worked with. And you've worked in, and you've reached the top level management level, and you're being asked to leave the job because you didn't get a vaccine. That is insane. So that just says a lot about, your source of funding, your source of income from your job, how stable it is. So when you're talking, about getting $5,000, $50,000, saved up over 8.5 years, there's a lot that can happen in 8.5 years. Heck, there's a lot that can happen in about 2 weeks. So, putting that in mind, 8.5 years, that's a long time. Your discipline, you might, if you're single, you might have a family in 8.5 years, and that just changes everything. That changes everything. There's, obviously global change. Everything changes nowadays on a very quick scale. Everything either goes up and down, and you can never predict it. So the actualization of your goal will genuinely take between 15 to 17 years in some cases. So some people never actually get to achieve those goals that they set out to do. And in this case, we just want to get $50,000, say, in our savings account. So what are you going to do, when you realize all these negative aspects? Once I've told you, imagine that this was a goal that you had to make $50,000 in savings. And what do? You're going to reject your dream, or, if you reject it, who else is going to suffer? Every goal that you set and you don't achieve or do achieve, someone either suffers or gains from this. It's here, it's there and back. It's that sort of relationship. You always got to keep that in mind, keep it in your head that, it goes there and back. It goes both ways, so to speak. So anyways, let's talk about compound interest, right? So eighth wonder of the world, what we know so far, right? What we know so far is that we're getting, $3,500 a month, right? That's our salary. Let's say you can put this example into whatever situation you're in. And their goal is to have $50,000, okay? And the income per month is 8%. We're setting 8% over the period of 100 months. So we gave ourselves 100 months or 8.5 years to achieve $50,000 at a rate of 8% per month, compound interest being reinvested. So we're reinvesting this amount. Here's the investment calculator. So there's a lot of these online. You can check them out. Some of them are useful, some of them aren't as useful, but this is not a bad one I found. It's called Investment Calculator 2021. And here we put in the initial amount. So we've put in $500, and we're contributions $500 every single month. You can set the initial amount at $100 and contribute $100 every single month. You will also get results. We checked monthly, and our rate of return in 1 year, which is 8% times by 12 months, that's 96% in 1 year, almost 100%, which is great. And we've put the years of growth, so of our savings account, for 8 years. Let's see what results we got. So after 8 years, your total balance that started with $500 and you putting in $500 every single month actually got you to $10,900,000. Okay, sounds crazy, but let's just go through it one by one, and we'll try to understand how this works. So here, let's start with year one. Year one, you start with $500. Annual contributions are 6,000. So that's the 12 months of the first year. You're putting 500, 500, 500, 500, 12 times every single month into your savings. Let's say into Sincere Systems, right? So your annual contributions, you put in $6,000. With the interest rate that we're earning, 8% average, we're getting $4,248 interest earned. So that's the passive income that we have earned in a year. Not so much, I understand, but the total balance at the end of the first year will be $10,748. So we've earned 4,248, and we've saved up and contributed $6,000 into investing into our whatever it is, Sincere Systems as an example. So year two, right? Year two, you still got this balance and it's working for you every single month. And you keep contributing another 6,000 annual contributions. You keep contributing 500 every single month, 500, 500, 500, whatever it is. So by now you have contributed out of your pocket, the money that you've contributed out of your pocket is $12,000, right? So you put 6,000, 6,000. This is what you're doing every year, $500 a month. And the interest that you earn in the second year now is $19,805. Do you understand what's going on here? In the first year, we earned $4,248. In the second year, we already earned $19,805, right? So this is with an ROI of 8% monthly. This is a pessimistic ROI, by the way, for some Sincere Systems. If you're talking about, if we're talking about contributing like $10,000 investment, the average you're going to get in Sincere Systems is like 10, 11% per month average, right? So this is quite, pessimistic what we're talking about here, and it's already not too bad. So we have total contributions that we have made is $12,000, and the total cumulative interest that we have earned, this is the money that we have earned, is $24,000, which is $4,000 in the first year and $19,000 in the second year. So now we have $12,000 that we've put in every single month, 500, 500, 500, plus all the money that we've earned, which is 24 grand. Together, we have $36,553 within 2 years. So we have turned this little, this what do you call it? Scheme, this pattern of action into $36,553. So instead of us just putting $500 away every month, which would have totaled $12,000 in savings in 2 years, we have turned the same exact method of putting away $500 into $36,000, which is 3 times more than it would have been if we had just been putting $500 in a piggy bank or putting it in the bank, because at the end of the day, inflation rates eat your money every single year, right? Several percent. So there's not much, you're actually not even going to be putting away that much money. You're actually going to be losing money. So third year, this is where things get interesting. So third year, we've already got $36,553. Keep in mind that our goal was $50,000 in 8.5 years. Okay, this is the beginning of the third year, and we have $36,553. Okay, and again, we're contributing another 6,000 this year. Every single month, we're putting 500, 500, 500. And now in the past 3 years, we have contributed 500 every single month. In 3 years, that's $18,000 out of our pockets, okay? The interest earned in year 3, this is just year 3, the interest that we earned from our money is $58,982, okay? $58,982. So the cumulative interest earned, that's all the money that we've earned from the investment itself, is $83,000, even though we've only put in $18,000 of our own money. So this is the beauty of compound interest, because that's how it works. That's how it works. You keep reinvesting, and your money keeps tumbling out. And at the end of year 3, we can see that everything put together, our money earned and our initial balances and everything that we've been putting in, all the $500 notes that we've been putting into the machine, have earned us $101,535. So you can see, I don't think we need to continue in terms of, specifying where this is going. But the point is, you got it, that by the end of year 3, we have achieved the goal that we set out to do, which was $50,000 2 times. We have actually, in the third year, by the end of the third year, we have reached our goal twice, even though our goal was supposed to be reached by the 8.5 years that we gave it. We reached that twice We made twice as much as our goal in only 3 years. If we keep going, we can see that, the cumulative interest actually keeps growing. So everything grows exponentially thanks to compound interest. The year one seems like nothing. Year two starts going up, and then year three is when it starts taking off. This is either when, if you put in the numbers of $100 every single month, you're also going to see results. Not as big, but you're going to reach around half that level, or maybe not even half, maybe a third of that level. You will reach by, year 3, 4, because it still works. It works on any level. It just matters what plan you have in mind. A lot of people argue, like say for you, you're going to be working with a lot of people, right? So a lot of people will probably say, hey, you need a lot of money to invest. That's not true. Putting $10,000 in is great if you have that money, but putting in your last $10, it's a bad idea. But if you have a spare $100, let's say every week or every month that you can put in to invest, that's better than putting in 1,000 and never putting in anything ever again. It's better to have a plan to help people understand that, if you put away a little bit of money every single month and you have a strategy that you're following, your money is going to keep doubling. It's going to keep doubling, 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 doubling. And that's what's the point. We can see here that, so we gave our challenge sort of eight years to get $50,000. If we follow the scheme that we've talked about and the plan that we followed, which is $500 every single month reinvested and contributed on top to our initial investment of $500 for 8 years, at an ROI of 8%. In 8 years, by the end of the 8th year, we do achieve an amount of $10,900,000, and that's completely possible. This is not something that is new to the world. This has existed for some time. Compound interest has existed for a long time, and there are a lot of people who take advantage of it, and that's great. Now that's the whole point. Now I'm not gonna okay, we can actually, here we go. So on year 8, the cumulative contributions, which is all the money that we've been putting out of our pockets, which is $48,000. That's $500 out of our pocket into the investment account every single month for 8 years. That's what, 12 times 8, 96 months times by 500, exactly $48,000. $48,000 is what we put in, and the cumulative interest earned over these 8 years is 10 million. So you put in 48 grand, but that grows to $10,859,000. That's insane. That's crazy. So when you look at these numbers, that is actually absolutely insane. This is okay. Yeah. So with Sincere Systems Group, we can see this is the same strategy. We use the ROI of 8%, which is a little bit less than what Sincere Systems has to offer on a monthly basis. The journey to your goal is 3.5 times shorter. So it's true. It is true because our goal was 8 years for $50,000. We achieved that within the 3rd year. By the end of the 3rd year, we already had $100,000. We were supposed to achieve 50 grand by our goals, right? So that means that's around 2.5 years, which is about 3.5 times shorter than 8.5 years. So your dream will become closer. Your goals will become more real. Your goals will become, as I mentioned in the beginning, a reality and not just a dream. And you're also lowering the time-related negative aspects, which we talked about. It was the inflation. It was, global change. It is, the changes that you have in yourself. Maybe you have a family, you got another kid in the family, so things become more complex and more complicated. So the longer you stretch out your goals for, the less likely you are to actually achieve them. So if you're going to do something, do it now, make a decision and get to it. Yeah, the fact that you guys are here, I want to thank you for that, and means you already began your journey and to allow your dream to come true. So that's great, and I want to thank you for watching. But remember one thing before we go is that some people tell me get in, everyone's, oh, this is all, we're too late for this, we're too late to invest, it's all gone, the train's gone. That's the mentality a lot of people have. It's too late, I'm just gonna go get on with my job. I didn't buy Bitcoin, for example. This is a cryptocurrency example. I didn't buy Bitcoin when it was like 10 cents, or $100. I would say that the train of Bitcoin um, has a lot of carriages, because I know people who started from the very first, introduction of Bitcoin, and I know people who've got into it maybe 3, 4 years ago, and it doesn't matter where you get in the train, because the train hasn't left yet. There's a train has lots of carriages, and what I like to say, the first one has left, but you can still get into the second one, or the third one, or the fourth one. Don't wait until you've waited 8.5 years to do something that you could have done in 3 years. So make your choice, contact whoever invited you to the opportunity, and open your personal dashboard according to your goals, dreams, and abilities. So I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I hope that your dreams do become a reality. And I thank you for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, FinanceNick, and thank you very much for watching. Oh, great.